Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Sounds of the Arena. This is episode 5, and we have an absolute banger of an episode planned for you today. Banger after banger. Last week we had Lego on the podcast, FFA World Champion. We got another FFA World Champion, but he's also a Halo World Champion. We got It's the Last Shot with us today. Wyatt, I'll hand it off to you to introduce yourself a little bit. I feel like most people watching know who you are, but for those who don't, I'll let you do that.
Yeah, my name's like Nazca said, my name's Last Shot. Wyatt, also known as Wyatt. I go by Wyatt. As some normal people would like to call it. I play professional Halo for Shopify Rebellion, and I'm also a FFA World Champion, as well as a World Champion in the HCS.
Yeah, man. I mean, the accolades just keep stacking and stacking, and um, personally, I just want to give a chance. I know I congratulated you while we were at the event in Seattle, but again, just congratulating you on the win and all the hard work, like definitely paying off and all that. But really curious what you've been up to since the win. I know, because especially this is, the last full season of Infinite, so it's like a even bigger deal than in any of the other years. So just kind of any, you know, a bunch of media stuff going on. Obviously, you're here, but what have you been up to?
Pretty much leading up to Worlds, I have been in California, Los Angeles, California. Boot camping out there, a little bit by myself, a little bit with a team, kind of from the LVT land, all the way up until Worlds. I spent my time in LA, a little 8 week stint. But ever since I got back, I've just been hanging out with my family. Kind of trying to do focus on the streaming side of stuff like that. Trying to grow my brand, trying to think of stuff that I can do, kind of that not everybody else is doing, and obviously just stay on the grind until next year.
Yeah, I'm definitely right there with you on the trying to think of things everyone's not doing. That's why I started this podcast here and trying to tell stories and talk about things that not a lot of other people are talking about. But I remember see like I think it was literally the day I got home and I get a notification that you went live and I was like it's like this dude just won world and he's already back on the MM grind, bro.
Oh
I
yeah.
gotta tip it.
Oh
I
yeah.
gotta tip it.
Hey,
Me
listen, you got to
personally,
put the work in, man.
I'm putting a 3 day at least a 3 day break after winning it all, bro. I gotta take a break from the damn game.
Oh yeah.
But super typical there. But I guess the whole premise of this episode, I really wanted to dive into your career as a whole. I feel like it doesn't get, talked about enough where you started in the scene and where you've gotten to now, starting from basically, where we're all at now. A lot of the open bracket players, the big dream, like making it out of pool play and then being competitive, taking that next step. But you've gone from I don't know if you've been DFR'd or not, but you've gone from that open bracket spot, the low placings there, to winning the whole thing. So I kind of want to dive into the start, where you started, and we'll kind of like work our way up there.
Yeah, so pretty much how it all, began. I was playing a little bit of SWAT in Halo 5. Because that's pretty much what my dad was playing. So I just kind of took in his footsteps and started playing SWAT in Halo 5, kind of grinded that for a couple seasons around the COVID summer. Because I was really bored, I mean everybody was in like locked in, locked down. And just it was gaming at the time, and that's whenever kind of gaming kind of took a big leap in terms of people streaming and content creation and all that. So I'm watching all these people stream and make content. I obviously want to start hopping on the bandwagon and start like gaming, because obviously these people are making it as careers, right?
Mhm.
So I just get that going. Start playing a little bit. I started playing these little like flash tourneys hosted by Nap Times. Shout out him for keeping the SWAT community going. SWAT Nation always. Played in a couple tourneys of his. Started earning a little bit of money, here and there. Not anything significant to the point of like the FFA World Championship and Worlds and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Um, but it was the start, right? And I just started playing, started getting a little taste of money. And then pretty much just got to the point where I realized that I could play the game to a higher level than most people. And so then I think it rolled around. Um, and I'm pretty sure me and a couple of my SWAT buddies, we just decided, hey, Halo Infinite just dropped. The Raleigh kickoff major just got announced. like, you know what, why not? Let's just go give it a shot. It's just for fun. It just be a LAN experience. None of us have been to like a LAN event before.
Yeah.
So we figured we'd just go ahead and just go take a leap and just see how it is. And my family drove me up there. Everything got worked out. I think we won one round, but got knocked out. But once I got to experience the event itself, that's kind of where my whole career started. Was that Raleigh first event, just kind of experiencing it as just strictly like a fan type of deal. Obviously, the competing was really fun. It was an amazing time.
Yeah.
Not winning for me. I love winning. So when I lose, I kind of feel bummed out. I get really discouraged and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But whenever it comes to, like, the atmosphere, that community, that sense of that purpose that everybody has when they're there, you can't like not match that energy whenever, like, you're there. And I feel like that's what kind of stuck with me, the entire time whenever I'm trying to compete and stuff like that. Is just like knowing how passionate these people are. The people that aren't even competing. Let's just talk about the cosplayers, the people who are showing up day in day, putting in so much time and effort and money, and they look incredible. I mean, those people, I gotta tip my hat to those guys. I've seen those people at events, and they're always showing up and showing out. That is one thing that I will never, like, take for granted, because that is insane. Those people doing that is very, very cool. But yeah, so going back to kind of the competing aspect of it, got into Raleigh, realized that this was amazing. Went to Charlotte with the same team. And then, after that, I kind of realized I wanted to do my own thing. I kind of wanted to look for my own, like, teams and stuff like that, kind of team with other people, than, kind of my friends. Cause I realized, I wasn't going to go up any higher with them anymore. I realized kind of like our ceiling has been hit. And then, yeah, so we went to Charlotte. I'm pretty sure it was second year, first year, second year, or whatever.
I think Charlotte was year two.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I went to Raleigh, Kansas City, and then Charlotte. So Kansas City was pretty much like the same thing happened. It was a great experience, whatever. And then I kind of started wanting to, like, compete more and more. Like, really get into it, because I was still in high school at this time. I was competing, or I was playing football and baseball. In the spring and fall. So that kind of
Hmm.
took up majority of my time. And also focusing on school as well, trying to graduate. Working on some college classes in the meantime. Just doing that, kind of focus on that. Obviously, I wanted to, the end goal was to pursue this as well, as a career.
Hmm.
But at the time, it's really hard to convince your parents at 16 that,
Yep.
like, you want to go play professionally, you want to put all your eggs in this one basket and really just try to do it. And it's really hard for them to, agree with you on that, especially when you're so young. I mean, I see it now. I understand it, but ended up, doing that. Went to Charlotte, did that, played. We got, like, I don't even know, like, top 64, top 48, something pretty mid in my terms of where I was supposed to be at in my
Hmm.
mind. And then I kind of figured out I just want to do my own thing. Went, tried this team search, and then Maskey, Schlags, hit me up. They're like, "Yeah, we're down to run a scrim with you." And then it kind of kicked off from there. Kind of that's whenever we started making waves in the open bracket. Started making a name for myself. Kind of started, competing, networking, talking to people, streaming a lot more, and just doing that, kind of getting out there, getting noticed. And after that, I think it was, I got second in the Fort Worth FFA, got second Arlington FFA of that year, in year three. No, yeah.
You won your thing in year two, so it probably was
Okay,
year
okay,
two.
so year 2 it was Arlington, Fort Worth. I got second in both of those. I coulda won either or, but I say they were just canon events to just win the FFA at
Hmm.
Worlds. Ended up in the FFA at Worlds. Kinda just went after that, and then, I kinda figured that, people would want a team with me. Just kinda, whoever it was, I thought it was gonna be pretty good. 'Cause what, I was competing in open bracket, and then obviously, I felt like I just needed to get a win, something positive under my belt for people to really take a chance on me,
Hmm.
and, kinda get that next step. And then I think right after that off season, there was a couple off season tourneys going on. And I think Cherish, Nemesis, and Bohm. That was kind of like my first little pro team I had.
Hmm.
Kind of guys who were all, like, professional players at the time. Kind of didn't have an org at that point. And we're kind of starting to take, like, a step back from the game. I saw a team with them for a little bit, and then I think we got, like, top four in one of the off season tourneys. Not really many people were playing in them. But I mean, it was still good in my terms. Going from open bracket to winning the FFA and then getting a top four in like an off-season tournament.
Yeah, I mean
Still
top
good
four
in
is
my
top
eyes,
four.
but yeah, of course. I mean, a lot of people will never see top four in their life. Even if it's an online tourney or
Hmm.
LAN. But yeah, so going past that. After that, I think it was like a little like a TSS team. It was me, Cherished, Super CC, and Morley. We played for a little bit. I think we ended up beating Native, and then kind of that's whenever I mean, I played phenomenal that series. I had some insane stats that I don't even know. I was on a mission, man. I was on a mission to make it to like in that moment because I knew that team was a little weak at the time, especially with Neptune coming back to Halo off of
Hmm.
his off the COD like off season or whatever. And I knew that team was a little weak. They were kind of under practiced, and I just told my team that we have to beat them to like really make a name for ourselves at the time because everyone was kind of counting us out, just like a random roster that formed.
Yeah.
And yeah, we beat the native team. And then at that point, they offered me a roster spot going into the next couple events
Oh, I remember
or
this.
going into the next season. And then I was kind of on the fence about it because it was like my first team, but I really didn't think that's a team that I could like win with or do better with in terms of competing.
Hmm.
No shade to them at all. They're phenomenal players. Obviously, like with the way my career has went now, I mean it's very hindsight. Let's just say if I take that offer, would I be here now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously those players, tip me and they say I made the right decision. But yeah, so had that happened, and then the pure roster that I was on that year with Talik, Druk, Duo, and then obviously like I think it was Swish at the time, Swish Fives. They ended up hitting me up as well with Coach Trey Try. They hit me up. I kind of talked through it. They kind of were like telling me I should come join them instead of joining that native roster. And they really swayed my decision. To be completely honest, I was kind of on the fence, like 50-50. And they made me feel at home, and they made me feel very welcome to the team. And it kind of swayed my decision 100%. And obviously went through that, all the online drama, Twitter drama about me not joining the team. They're like not joining native, excuse me,
That
and kind of
Monopoly
like
board
root.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, and people like talking about Monopoly money because it was rumored like that was the G1 team. And so yeah, it was just a lot of just hate and just but I get it. I get it now. At the time I was like, bro, you're slandering my name for no reason. Like I'm a nobody to you, and you're trying to do all this just for fun. Like you're trying to do all this for clicks. Like it's pretty annoying. But
Hmm.
um, ended up doing that, getting on that pure roster. We went kind of a couple off seasons or off season tourneys, and we went into the first land. Drunk couldn't make it in. And then by the way, if you want me to stop yapping, I know we can
Nah,
edit
no,
this, but
you're
like
good,
if you want me
bro.
to stop. Okay,
You're
okay.
good, bro.
Went into the first event at Arlington, and then we got Druk couldn't get in. We had to pick up Eric Avenue, one of the triplets, the Lopez triplets. Played with through open bracket. Finally made it out of open bracket. So I didn't technically go straight onto a pro team from open bracket. I finally made out the open bracket that event. And then yeah, we obviously after that event, Druk got in. We teamed with Collect. I think it was me, Talik, Collect, and Druk for the London event. Kept going. Pretty sure what was the next event? I can't
Well,
remember.
Atlanta. Atlanta was the next one.
Oh, that's right, Atlanta.
That was
So
my first
Atlanta,
one.
yeah, Atlanta rolls around. Um, you know, that was my first top four in an event I've ever gotten. With those boys, we ended up beating FaZe. I think it was pretty much like a winners round one,
Yeah.
like crazy matchup.
I remember that. That
Um,
moment was it was kind of funny because that was my first event and that was when twos were going on and I was playing with Don't Jump and we had
yeah.
like we won our series 2-0 but we were down like I shit you not like 10 kills in both maps and came back and won them like 25-24.
Wow.
So we were screaming at them as like you guys had just beaten FaZe. So like as like Cherish and all you
Well,
guys
that's
were just
crazy.
screaming at them, we were screaming at our guys. I was like that's kind of aura.
That's kind of crazy timing. I can't
Yeah.
lie. That's insane.
Because I
Uh,
was like looking around, I'm like, what the hell's going on main stage? And Matt was behind me. Was like, why didn't them just beat FaZe? I was like, you're shitting me. Like, that's dope.
no, that was a crazy event for it to be my top four, and obviously, I think that was like the first time my family's really like come to an event as I was a professional player.
Hmm.
Um, and so that was really nice getting like a top four with them there. Salt Lake City rolls around. We ended up getting top 12, and then kind of disappointing finish. And then obviously we rebound and we get top 4 back at the Worlds, unsalaried and unsigned the entire year. And then obviously back to the present date. I am on the Sharp Fire Rebellion roster during the offseason. A little bit of offseason drama goes around. We were supposed to team with Lucid and Trippy. Lucid ends up going to team with SSG, with Snakebite, Stellar, and Eco. And then we're kind of, on the fence about keeping Trippy or not, or whether we want to keep Trippy, or if we want to, go with another duo. And obviously Frosty and Roll 2 came available, so we ended up going with that. And then going from there, kind of played the first little off seasons, did really good. Obviously, it was us and Optic, going into the season. In my mind, a lot of people were counting us out, but it obviously worked out in the end. Went into Arlington, disappointing finish. When we were in winners,
Was a
got lost the
war.
grand finals, lost the grand finals reset. First grand finals I've ever been in. Um, Disappointing to say the least. We obviously learned from it and got better. Um,
Canon event, you could
Next of
say.
yeah, it was literally the canon event. Yeah, it's every single time right before I've won, I've always gotten second. Even in the FFAs, I kind of was going back and thinking about that prior to or after this Worlds win. I was going back and thinking about I just got 2 seconds in a row at the FFA and then I won. So it was like I was going into it like the dream hack and I was like, okay, let's actually try to lock in here. Let's actually just win it and let's just get her done. You know what I mean? And ended up getting top 4, losing to phase and winners, and obviously Optic and losers. Not a good showing from us. We didn't really win, or we should have won against phase, but sometimes you don't get so lucky. Um,
Yeah.
you don't get gifted. You don't get gifted all wins. You have to earn every single one of them because you never know whenever someone's going to show up and show out, and that's what phase did that event. They played really good.
Yeah, they played
And
crazy
then
good.
obviously phase and SSG after that event. Little whirlwind team change goes down. With that, loses Snakebite for Stellar, not Stellar, Falcated and Suppressed. They kind of swap that happened. And then we kind of realized at that point we really needed to lock in and kind of find something that we haven't before. And obviously, going after that event, HTS released a post saying that they will not be continuing to support Halo Infinite in 2026. HTS wise. Obviously, knowing now where there are some grassroots teams, kind of like a grassroots year going on next year, in terms of partner teams and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But going after that, going to SLC, obviously first event win for Preston, me and Nick. Great event. Obviously went to the distance with Optic. Game 7 couldn't ask for a better finish, and then Charlotte ended up going on the two-peat, winning that pretty dominantly. We had to play FaZe. FaZe lost to Optic. That was the first event. Optics, like lost to event or lost to somebody besides us. They've obviously lost to us in Arlington in winners, and they lost to us in winners in DreamHack as well.
Yeah. Besides
But
their random
our
pool
Chart,
play trolls too.
yeah, literally. I mean, it feels like they just weren't ever trying in pool play, which kind of hurt them a lot. I mean, they
Everyone
still won the event, but I mean, it's still crazy to think about.
everyone in the open bracket, like we always talked about how we always thought like Optic like some of their losses were like really trolly, and we always thought they were purposely like losing one pool play match to try and play you guys off rip to knock you guys down early, and that was like the speculation for I want to say the first like
Yeah,
probably like when SLC started, like when it became like a repeat factor of you guys. I think you guys played winners round one like almost every tournament, and I
yeah.
was like they have to be doing this on purpose.
The only tournament we didn't play them in, um, I'm pretty sure. Well, no, we okay. Well, I was gonna say the only tournament, but it happened. We didn't play them at Worlds either.
Hmm.
We didn't play them in Charlotte. I don't think. I think
I
we played
think
them in winners round 2 in Charlotte. I'm pretty sure, or
yeah,
Salt Lake
yeah, it
City.
was round
Either one,
two
one
in
or the
Charlotte
other.
or
I
something.
can't remember. Um, but yeah. So whenever yeah, no, it was in Charlotte because we ended up playing. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, because FaZe ended up coming down. That's right. Okay. Um, but yeah, I ended up going for the 3P as well. Also forgot to sprinkle in the LVT lane in there. We did win that in between. I think it was right before Salt Lake City or in between Salt Lake City and Charlotte, but ended
Yeah,
up winning that. And
four
then
peat.
obviously going on the 4P in terms of lands, and then obviously ending it with a ring and a world championship. So
Yeah, plus you guys won that K-Zone. event at the beginning of
Yeah,
the year
that is
too.
true.
That
A
was
lot
pretty
a lot of
big.
people put a little asterisk next to that, but hey, it counts in my heart. It counts in my heart.
Oh, is it because they didn't have that reset or whatever? Or I forget. There was like a
Yeah,
whole
that
drama after
yeah,
it.
that is the whole reason kind of. So one thing that some people probably don't know, I don't really think anyone's really talked about it, but right before the case on event, I think it was like 3 days or something, like 2 or 3 days, they released or like they'd released the game types already, but I realized there was no grand finals reset. And I'm pretty sure either Nick asked or something. He asked if there was going to be a grand final reset, and they were like, no, due to time constraints, because it was a 1 day tourney. They're not
Hmm.
going to do grand finals reset. So everyone knew going into it that there was not going to be a grand finals reset. So it was like all this, like, oh, it's not a real tourney. There was no grand finals reset. True, that is true. There was no grand finals reset, but everyone knew the stakes, and everyone knew like the whole entire map
Yeah,
set and
like
kind of
that.
how it was going to go.
Those 7 maps were it, no matter what side you were from.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people they forget about that. I honestly forgot about it till now because I was thinking I was like, well, now you mentioned the LVT one. That's a four-peat, and I was like, well, then we got the case on one at the beginning because you guys won like five this year.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
I mean, I kind of feel like the Arlington Major kind of shades over or puts like an umbrella up to like the case on land, at least in
Yeah.
terms of like visibility. You know what I mean? Just because going from we won the case on land, everyone, all of, like the fans were like, oh, that was just like cheese. There was no grand finals reset, and they won Arlington the way they did, and then it kind of like it just kind of took over in terms of like everybody talking about it. So
Yeah. And people have their opinions and whatnot, but I mean, you guys ultimately locked in, and I mean, truly, I think starting at Charlotte, like it was night and day. I mean, going into Worlds, you guys were the blatant favorites because there was just you guys just had something that nobody else had. And I kind of like
yeah,
at the beginning of the year when these teams formed and when you guys released yours, I really liked that team because I felt like everyone had just from watching everyone play on their different teams, like everyone's gameplay complemented the others. Everyone like had a role they could play, and then looking at the Optic
yeah,
team, it was like Formal was that middle guy, and then you just had three like guys that just on their respective teams just like destroyed everything.
yeah,
So there wasn't like everyone played the same role on that team versus like everyone being able to play a different role, which you guys had. I feel
yeah.
like definitely helped a ton in your guys' domination and you know, I'm willing to. I don't see anyone touching you guys going into the. We got. Or are you guys gonna go to that Birmingham one? That's the next one.
Yeah. That is gonna be the next official uh known of land that we everyone kind of knows currently. We also
Hmm.
have the two Dream Hacks, and then Halo Fest is
Yeah,
the three major ones announced for next year. So, but yeah, as long as there's qualifier, I mean, we're gonna go no matter what to whatever there's gonna be. Shopify Rebellion is super, encouraging. They're gonna keep us for next year. They have us re-signed for next year as well.
that's awesome.
So it's gonna be another year of us sticking together, and hopefully, not knock on wood, we can go to war, and hopefully there'll be some good teams showing up and showing out, because it's gonna be a good year.
Oh yeah, man, for sure, for sure. Um, you could have, you could be going to LAN. I'll give, the College Halo boys some love here. If UNG was still a thing, I'd be seeing you next weekend.
That's
I don't
crazy,
know if you
man.
heard about if you saw the announcement I put out today. I can officially talk about it now, but we're D1 playoffs on LAN at UNA.
That's pretty sick. That
Whatever
is pretty
happened
sick.
to the I always ask Clay about it and then Clay's all like nonchalant about it. But whatever happened to
Mhm.
what happened with UNG? You guys didn't play this year.
Um, well, the whole reason I didn't play this year, I'll be completely honest, is because I didn't really want to continue with college, at least for this semester.
Hmm.
I wanted to kind of take, because me and Preston Cycle are both in college. Or well, we were at the time at the start of the season. And we kind of both got together and we were like, hey, you know, Nick, our coach, was really encouraging of this, taking a semester off, because especially with what was at stake. Halo Infinite, the season ending, the first or last full season of Halo Infinite,
Hmm.
including two majors and worlds, for like the fall season, for the second split of the year. Um, we kind of talked about it, talked it through, and he was like, "Listen, guys, I really think you should take off this semester. I really think you should just put all your eggs in one basket. Go, stream every day. Go really hard. Go hard in scrims. I really think y'all just need to be locked in and don't really need to worry about school, at least for this time being." And I think me and Preston, at first we're like, whatever, like we can still do school and still compete. It's not really that big of a deal.
Hmm.
But I mean, he got through to us, and I mean, we took off, and obviously we didn't lose at that point whenever we took off school. So I mean, coincidence, maybe not. But yeah, we ended up just locking in and trying to secure as many tournament wins for HCS as we could, and for Shopify Rebellion that worked.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think another one of those key decisions, like you said earlier, with the native decision. I think that definitely. I feel like in hindsight, doesn't like you said, it could be a coincidence, but I mean, surely being able to just solely lock in and not have all these other factors, like really just lets you hone in on your gameplay and whatnot. And I
Yeah,
know already before it, like I've always said a lot of people always say that, but like the reason you also made it out is just the disgusting amount of work that you put in outside of just like everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I put in the work," and they're just playing MM for 8 hours, not learning
yeah,
anything. But you're putting in
yeah,
the hours with the team and the VOD, the stuff that nobody wants to do, or the stuff people are
yeah,
doing and they do it for an hour and they half-ass it, or they're not really learning anything, or they're paying, other AMs on Metafy to VOD with them or something like that. But
yeah,
you really you hone in on the dirty work there, and that's what's gotten you. I feel like that's the separator. Hard work
yeah,
pays off. Nothing good comes
yeah.
easy, man.
That is very true. And to piggyback off that, there is listen, there's only one way to do it, and that's hard work. You're not gonna be, especially in esports,
Oh yeah.
you're not gonna be gifted anything, man. There's not like maybe in real life, you can get gifted a job to your family or something like that. You can get lucky. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But when it comes to esports, people have to take chances on you, and you really have to shine for people to really want to team with you or to play with you, and you have to be a respectable person to play with. And
Hmm.
I think that's one thing that at least in terms of esports, is really good for us as humans in the real world. Once this is all gone, or once we retire, or we move on, is you have to learn to like be talkative. You have to learn to talk to
Absolutely.
people and actually grow as a person and a human. And I think that's one thing that not really many people realize. Is you literally have to put in a disgusting amount of work. Like you have to.
Hmm.
I've there's so many sacrifices I've made when it's come to friendships and relationship stuff, and there's been so many times I've turned down hanging out with people, and hey, I got to scrim. Hey, I gotta go watch it all with the team. Hey, I can't call and talk tonight. Hey, I can't do this. It's stuff like that that not a lot of people realize behind the scenes. There is a lot of sacrifices that esports requires, and yeah, I just want to kind of shine a little light on that.
Yeah, I mean that's honestly a great topic. Even from personal experience, obviously I didn't make it to the same level that you did in this game, but I had my own experiences just in the open bracket, going from random HRL teammates to, getting guys like, Six and like playing eights with him and him taking
Yeah,
a chance on me for Charlotte. And even outside of competing with this org stuff, starting this started in my dorm room in my sophomore year, and every little thing that we've done, the rebrand, the jerseys, sending the two teams to the different lands, doing this podcast, getting, you and Lego on here. I mean, none of it that's all been on me through talking. And that, like,
yeah,
I've gotten comments before where it's like, Nas, you know everybody. And it's like, I don't feel like I know everybody. I like talking. I'm a talkative person.
yeah,
I'll go up, like, even when I'm knocked out of the open bracket, I'll go up and stand with that crowd and I'll just say some shit to myself. And usually someone like picks it up and then we start a conversation. And half the time I don't even know who they are, and ends up
yeah,
being a huge connection down the road. And I mean, College Halos, that's one of the biggest. I got to give them a
yes.
shout out. That's like
Mhm.
been my biggest avenue of connections and where the love for esports came in through. But yeah, I totally agree with you on that. This industry, got to
Yeah,
put in the work, got to network. I mean, I'm a sport management major, and they harp on networking a lot for that.
yeah,
But the esports, there's nothing else. I don't think anything else comes close to needing networking as much as this, with how niche the industry is and how competitive it is.
yes, yeah, of
Everything is
course.
so gate kept. It's insane.
Yeah, it's like everyone in this, like, especially just like the esports community and just gaming in general, like there's a lot of like egotistical mindsets out there.
Hmm.
Um, and it does ruin some people, but it also makes people shine as well. And going back to being that like talking to people, and then also just like getting yourself out there. I mean, I feel like that's like the biggest things. It's in terms of like just growing and like getting known. It's just talking to people. That's really all it is. That's one thing it took me a long time to realize. Kind of like that first time I really like was talking to like the Schlags, Maskey, the brothers. I really didn't know anybody at the time. I kind of just like kept to myself. Was kind of stuck in my shell, and then obviously once that happened, I started streaming a little bit more, and it made it a little bit easier. And then we obviously also we started doing better, and a lot of people wanted to talk to me and kind of get to know who I was because I was really a nobody at that point. No one really knew who I was. I kind of just like spawned in and come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, just talking, networking, and it makes you a better human in the long run, and it also grows you just in so many different ways.
Hmm. And even I feel like outside of esports too, you don't know where once, eventually at some point, we're all done competing, this esports has a shorter age span than sports does typically because of reaction time and the sustainability of being paid. But these connections you build in esports, they could honestly help with anything down the road. You may never know with a career. Like I try and stay in contact with all these guys, and I think maybe one person I'm friends with in the community lives in this Lido lives in PA.
Mhm.
Everyone knows he's from
Yeah.
PA. But other than that, everyone else is so spread out. But I feel like I'm more closer with these people than some of my IRL friends. It's just especially
Yeah.
after this season, like spending a full season with them, and it's just great. And this esport specifically, the Halo communities, the beautiful community. Everyone's super tight knit, super close. I mean, we got your egos and our drama and this and that, but it's nothing like COD where it's like super super gate kept and friendship league crap. Like anyone can make a name for themselves if they put in the work.
Yeah. 100%. I definitely agree.
But I think with that, we're hit the over the half hour mark here. I hit on everything I really wanted to hit on for this episode. I don't know if there's anything you wanted to close out with here and leave the audience with before we wrap things up.
Well, yeah, I just want to get a second to thank you for having me on here and allowing me, to kind of talk through my story and talk about some things I haven't talked about before. I really do appreciate you doing this and obviously posting this wherever you do. Make sure you follow, sub wherever this may be. If you are watching, you better do it. All right, you better
Yeah,
do it.
I mean,
Uh,
you heard the man.
nah, but seriously, thank you so much for allowing me to do this and come on here and talk to you for a little bit, man. I had a great time.
Yeah, of course, man. I really appreciate you coming on here. I know that the people are gonna love this episode. This is a story that I feel like a lot of people want to know and haven't heard yet. So,
Yeah.
but with that, I will close out. I want to give a huge shout out again to Wyatt. Want to give a shout out to Superpods, for producing our podcast here, and our partners Crit Apparel for their amazing merch, designed by Lenhart, our designer. Shout out him, and make sure you use code Ghostify in the Poggers store. Shout out Poggers, our new energy drink affiliate, for 10% off your entire order. And check out our other episodes here on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And with that, I will catch you next week with episode 6.